Hi, it's Steve Shaketans. Today I'm going to talk about if you clicked on this because you saw the description, fear of doing 1,000 push-ups a day. I was listening to Bob Proctor. He put out a video about, he calls it the terror barrier, and this is a concept where fear keeps us from doing things. So there was a guy by the last name of Joseph Campbell, and he said, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure we seek." So that fear is holding us back. So the title of this talk that I'm giving today is "Fear of Doing 1,000 Push-ups Every Day," and I guess you know, I don't know how many people on the planet are doing 1,000 push-ups every day. I know there's at least a few out there, and there's probably some people out there that are doing more than that. Um, but I guess the question is why. So just so you know, that's what I'm doing. I've been for I set this goal about 9 months ago to start to do 1,000 push-ups a day. It was because part of that reason was because I hurt my back, and I tried a bunch of different things. I've gone to massage therapists, and I took uh, I took electric treatment on it, and it was still hurting. I mean, it was just, I was getting a lot of pain back there, and I was listening to Les Brown one time, and he was talking about doing push-ups and not neglecting to do that, because as you get older, it's your responsibility to keep your health, or you're going to pay a price later on. There's a price to pay for inaction as well as there is for the actions that we do in our life. So the reason I wanted to talk about this fear of doing 1,000 push-ups, because a goal, you can set a goal, and when I first set that goal, it was like, man, I have no idea I'm going to do this. I could barely do like 10 push-ups at that time. I mean, I could do 10, 20 push-ups probably, but that was about it, and it was like I couldn't do anymore. And so fear, I guess that's where fear comes in. It's like setting a big goal like 1,000 push-ups is going to create a lot of fear. It's going to create a something inside me that says, man, that's just too big. I can't do that. 1,000 push-ups, I mean, that's just nuts. So I decided that obviously the first few days there's no way I'm going to be able to do 1,000. So I gradually worked up. I got up to 500 after about 3 or 4 months, and I stayed there. And I had this fear of I didn't know if I could make this goal. I had this fear of not being able to get there, and so I stayed at 500 for, geez, I think, well, about 3 months. Because yeah, it was about 3 months ago, a little less, maybe 2 months ago, that I started doing this 1,000 push-ups. I finally I hit this, I guess, the barrier. So the terror barrier is this place where you come, where you're just where fear sort of takes over, and it creates a stoppage of you going after your goals. It might be like you might have a dream to move. I remember I've talked to some people, and they had this dream to move to Hawaii, and they live here in Wyoming. We're in the middle of the United States, right, dead almost in the center of the United States. And here this their goal was to move to Hawaii, and but it they may or may not do that based on the fear. But if fear comes in, there's a fear of, oh, I can't do that. I can't leave all my friends. I'm comfortable here, and not asking that lady out on a date. That there's that fear that comes to you, and it has to do with I guess it has to do with self-image. It has to do with how our mind thinks, and but I want to let you know that you have control over this. So I'm an example here. I'm not anything special. I'm just a small business owner here in the middle of Wyoming, and I got a hold of this concept. These push-ups are is you know I guess I've always, in my early days of business, I took some training, and he said, you know, the crowd is wrong. If you want to be unusually successful, figure out what everybody else is doing and do the exact opposite. You know, so one of the things I did when I started the business is I asked people about what do they think about door to door selling and maybe doing that as a career or a business, and everybody, friends, relatives, everyone I talked to said that is the most insane, crazy thing that you've ever came up with. And it's just like you are just stupid for even thinking of that. What are you thinking? You know, that is just crazy. And so of course that's what I did. So I went ahead and did the door to door selling, and man, that was a great experience. I learned how to overcome, you know, again, this fear. You know, I had this fear. I think that was just other people's fears. Of they had a fear of going door to door. Oh, I couldn't possibly go door to door and try to sell something to somebody. Oh, God, that's horrible. And so, so there was that fear, you know, and you know what? And then to play the what if game. What if a dog bites me or something? You know, it's like, well, gosh, you know, a mailman goes door to door every day, you know, and they have that same thing. And yeah, sometimes they get bit by a dog, but most of the time they don't. So again, that's, you know, I did several years of door to door selling, and I can't think of a time when I was bit by a dog. I might have been, but it wasn't. It was very rare. You know, that's a you know, fear. The acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. You know, that's one of the things. You know, those are fears that have no substance, or not based on anything. So back to this fear of doing 1,000 push-ups. So I I I went ahead and set this goal. I thought, you know what? I'm going to set this goal for 1,000. Well, first of all, I heard somebody. There's a guy named Herschel Walker. He was a football player. He played in the NFL, and somehow when he was younger, he just started doing 1,000 or 2,000 push-ups every day, and sit-ups. And by the time he got to college, he basically didn't spend hardly any time in the weight room. He just did these 1,000 push-ups and 1,000 sit-ups every day. And even when he got in the NFL, the coaches and stuff sort of left him alone. They didn't require him. He was so good at what he did that they didn't require him to do the normal weight room stuff and everything. So which is pretty interesting. But anyway, the reason I bring him up is because I heard that he was doing that, and so for me, when I heard that, I thought, you know, it's possible. It's possible. Now I believe he's in his 50s now, which I'm in my 50s, and he's still doing them. And he started doing them, I heard, when he was like a teenager. You know, maybe someday I'll get to meet Herschel Walker, but what a great football player. What a great inspirational story this guy is. And I've seen interviews of him, and he's just so relaxed. He's just a relaxed guy, and I really admire him, and he inspired me. And it's not just that. It's, you know, it's the fact that it, you know, if somebody else is doing it, then why can't you do it, or why can't I do it? So that was what the deal was. It was like I was like, wow, he's possible. You know, it's possible to do this. And so and then the other question that I asked myself is, you know, why not me? Why not? Why not? So back to this. So why wouldn't I do 1,000 push-ups a day? Why would I not set that goal? I know if I do this, man, there's just nothing that good that could come out of it. It's just going to help me in so many different ways, and which it has. But what is it that would keep me from setting a goal like that? Would I say, oh, it's totally unrealistic? You know, no one can do that. Well, Herschel Walker's doing it, and he's been doing it every single day. So that is it's possible. Someone out there is doing it. You can say, oh, well, he was born with some kind of, you know, he might have been born with some extra muscle structures and stuff like that maybe I don't have, but basically he's just like you and me. So if someone out there's doing it, then you can do it too. And I guess that's that. So that what we're talking about is where the fear comes in. There's that barrier. There's this fear that's like, it just keeps me from doing this. I don't think. And so basically the mind and the way we think, we become what we think about. So I've got to take control, and we've got complete control over our thinking. So once I take control of that, then I can direct this. So I set this goal, and you know, here I'm in my 50s. You know, it's like oh, maybe I mean, these fears kind of, well, maybe I'm too old to do this, or maybe, gosh, I could have done this in my 20s. I never did because I never set the goal for it. I think I probably could have, but if you'd have told me back then, you're going to do 1,000 push-ups every single day, never miss a day, 7 days a week, I'd have said, I don't think I can do that. Probably, I think most 20-year-olds might say that, but it's possible, and it is possible. But there's this fear. The fear is what keeps me from setting that goal. So I think that if the goal, when I first wrote it down and I looked at it, and I thought, oh man, it scared me a little bit, and so I think I knew I was on the right track at that point. When you set your goal and it's so big that it, in your mind at least, or you look at it and you're like, whoa, I don't know, now that, obviously, if you're standing in front of a two-story building and your goal is to stand upright and just jump without any aid of anything, and jump to the top of the building, like you see on the superheroes, that may be not a goal that's realistic. So like I said, I don't know, maybe 10,000 push-ups, that probably would have got me to the point where I was like, I just don't have time in the day. I mean, it takes me 45 minutes. So gosh, I mean, that'd be like 8 hours of solid push-ups. Somebody's probably out there doing it, but that for me possibly would be unrealistic, to the point where my mind would say, you're not going to do this. So make sure, but you want a big goal, big enough that it's like, man, I think it's possible, but boy, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm capable of doing this. But I'm here to tell you that if you set the goal, and it didn't happen overnight. It's not like I set this goal to do 1,000 push-ups and the next day I was doing them. I mean, at that point I could barely do like 20 or 30. When I first set the goal, and when I first said it, I was like, man, I think it'd be a huge accomplishment if I could do 100 a day. I mean, especially at my, you could say, well, especially at my age, but that's an excuse too, is saying, especially at my age. At my age, I can't do this or that, or wait till you get my age. I mean, those are excuses. You can do this. It's possible. I'm doing it. I think I've got over 2 months now, where I've been doing 1,000. Actually, there's a principle about going the extra mile, doing a little bit more than you're paid to do. I've been in the habit of doing that for a very long time. Got a hold of this concept a lot of years ago, and I'm completely in the habit of doing this. So it bleeds over into every area of my life. I mean, it's so ingrained in me that I always do something extra, to where the point I do it and I don't even think about it. So whenever I'm doing something, I always put a little bit more into it. I guess you'd say it's a time investment that does pay off down the road. So anyway, I'm actually doing more than 1,000 push-ups a day, was the point I was trying to get there. That, I do sets of 150, but when I get done, I always try to do it 2 or 3 more, sometimes 5, 10 more. So I'm always doing a little extra. And actually, I do 7 sets of 150, so I believe that's 1,050. So I do an extra 50 right off the bat, and then I do a little extra on each set. So I'm probably more like 1,100s. It's on a good day. If I've got a little more energy, I'll probably do 1,200. But that's every day. I mean, I haven't missed. I found for myself that I feel that's so important to keep up with your exercise and your physical health, that it's just like brushing your teeth, or combing your hair, or taking a shower. You don't do that every other day or 2 days a week. Well, some people do, but I personally take a shower and I comb my hair, brush my teeth for sure every day. Sometimes I brush my teeth 4 or 5 times a day, because I want to take care of my teeth. I don't want my teeth to fall out. Again, I've let that become a habit of doing these 1,000 push-ups. And anyway, doing them every single day. People say, oh, well, you got to have rest. You got to rest between. There's plenty of time to rest. I mean, it only takes 45 minutes. I got the whole rest of the 24 hours to rest. And I think if you just stay relaxed throughout your day, and if I don't let myself get too tensed up, then everything is fine. But when I work out, I I don't stretch it out over all day. I don't do like 150 and then wait an hour and do another 150. I don't do it that way. I just get them all done. Oh, and between just so you know, I'm not I'm not just I'm not to the point. I'm not just doing. I don't just get down and do 1,000 push-ups just right off. I think that's possible, but that's not how I do them. I do them in sets, just sets of 150, and then between the sets, I do crunches, leg lifts, sit-ups. Try to keep my core strengthened. I think that's very important, and that's every single day. So I probably do, I don't know, between 16 and 1,800 reps probably right now. I'll get up to 2,000 here probably in a couple months. Um, but the other issue with this is if you want to improve and grow, you've got to add to this a little bit. So like I said, um, I, you know, I've been thinking about this, and it's like, you could ask me, well, where do you find the time to do this? But realistically, if you just put your mind to doing them, I can do these. I can do 1,800, you know, crunches, leg lifts, things like that. Um, and these 1,000 push-ups in between the reps of doing those. There's one set that I do like 800 crunches in one set, and then I go back to the reps. Your core, you can work that. You can work that probably. I could probably do that twice a day, and it wouldn't affect me. But the whole routine takes about 45 minutes. So once I add a little bit more, it might take an hour, and then I spend 10 minutes 10 minutes on the exercise bike before I start these, just to kind of warm up, and then I have a rowing machine, so I spend 5 or 10 minutes on the rowing machine too. So yeah, right now it's a little over an hour it takes to do this. So the time that I find is I just wake up earlier instead of getting up. Um, like this morning, I woke up at 6. Usually I get up between 4:30 and 5. Today is Saturday. I went ahead and got up at 6 o'clock today instead of I got up at 6 o'clock instead of 5, because Saturdays I can usually sleep in. But that still gives me, I'm done by 7. I don't have to be to work till 8:30, so I still have an hour and a half to get ready, read my book, make this video like this. So the key of, boy, I'm probably going to make one about just getting up early and how much benefit it has come to me, and what you could get by just waking up a little bit earlier. Arnold Schwarzenegger says, when people asked him, how do you get up so early? I can't miss that much sleep, and he just said sleep faster. And it sounds kind of funny, and it's like that, but it's interesting. It's like, I've been sleeping faster. I haven't needed to get as much sleep, although I get rest. I relax and I rest even throughout the day. You can relax if you're driving in the car. You can relax. You can relax your mind, relax your body, and still be driving. You don't have to be all tensed up to drive. Matter of fact, I drive race cars, and when I do the best when I'm completely relaxed, because then when you're relaxed, your mind thinks clearer and stuff. So I think I've heard of people, even football players, which is a very intense sport. When they play relaxed, they always play better, and sometimes they play to their potential, their complete potential when they do that. So my suggestion is, and even when I'm doing my push-ups, when I'm push, I know it's pushing, and you're pushing, doing push-ups. You can't pay somebody to do your push-ups for you, by the way. But when you're doing those push-ups, if I do them in a relaxed manner, it seems like they go a lot smoother. I always think of the word smooth, or something like that, a word like that when I'm doing them, and I do them in a relaxed manner. I'm still doing them, but I'm doing them in a relaxed manner, and it seems to be it doesn't seem to be quite as difficult and hard. And so anyway, I hope this is an encouragement to you today. I also want to say, don't give up. If you set a goal like this, don't give up. Just commit to doing it. Do it every single day. Think to yourself, just push yourself if you have to, but do it every single day. You can do it. You can do 1,000 push-ups. You just if it scares you a little bit, set that goal, write it down, and commit to doing it. And just like me, you'll find you're doing it. Man, it's awesome. I feel so good. I'm in the best shape of my life, mentally. It's helped in all areas of my life. So get up earlier. Do set your goals. Yeah, maybe it's not 1,000. Do 100. Do 50. 10. 10. Start where you're at, and you can do this. Anyway, it's been a pleasure coming to you today. I hope this helps you. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.